There we go. Part two. Let's go. Tell us what you're saying, Jay. You had a conversation with a friend?
Is Robert in here? No,
He's
he's
about
not
to
in here
get
yet.
in. Yeah, he's about to get
Okay.
in.
So I was, and just to feed off or to piggyback off of what you just said, like in Oakland and stuff like that. So a lot of it is how the media portrays certain places, and we really don't have any control of what the media feeds us. Right. So I was having a conversation with a very special friend of mine, and I've been trying to convince her to go to Mexico with me, right? Like I'm like, hey, like let's go to Mexico, let's go to Mexico, let's go to Mexico. And she's like, I'm not gonna go to Mexico. It's fucking scary down there and stuff like that. So like the media, of course, portrays Mexico to be fucking scary as fuck, right? But you're only seeing one side of the entire country. And me, that I've been to Mexico like a million times, and I was born in Mexico, and like obviously I know what the real Mexico looks like.
What is
Like
really going down over there?
what is really going down. Like I'll send her like clips of places that are like good to visit and stuff like that. Because just in any other place, like there's obviously like dangerous places, but that's everywhere. You know what I mean? But I've been
Even
sending her
even
like,
in even in Laredo, bro.
yeah, exactly. Even here in San Antonio, even in Laredo, like so it's but the media portrays Mexico to be a fucking giant cartel war everywhere and fucking tanks and bazookas and shit like that. And I'm like, no, 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 that's only like in certain places. Like, yes, it is like that, right? But like it's okay. Like you don't have to go to those places. You know what I
Like
mean?
life still goes on, and there's a civil, I guess, a civil society within that
A
madness that's
whole
going on. Yeah,
fucking country, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it's unfortunate because Mexico is one of the most beautiful countries that I've ever
beautiful,
been to,
bro.
you know?
Shit. Like this past
But
year when I
it
went
goes,
to Cancun, real quickly, I before that I've had always like not in the last few years like nah, I don't want to go to Mexico. I was just always like in that same ideation, like no me está bien pesado ya, y la fregada. But you know what? Like, you know what, bro? It's gonna be amazing. My brother's been there. He telling me it's amazing. Let's just go and do it. And then, no, hombre, güey, it was beautiful. And I had missed Mexico so much, and I was glad to take my kids and my wife and see like the beauty of Mexico. Güey. So yeah, go ahead, brother. Share, share, share.
yeah. So and it goes to say like the media, we have absolutely zero control of what we see on television or hear on the radio or anything else other than willfully looking for information. So as I was saying at the beginning of the episode, you have to be very mindful of the information that you feed yourself because it could go like sour, it could go south really, really quick. So this area, like I'm pretty sure that Oakland is pretty bad, but other places in California are still really beautiful. You know what I mean? But if they focus on that, they don't get ratings, they don't get, they don't get views, they don't get likes, they don't get any of that, so they can't, so it goes
Negativity sells.
and negativity sells, and controversy sells. So obviously they're going to focus on that. And then now people know that. So like now the person that like instead of you like filming a beautiful sunset, you're going to film a fucking dude robbing an Apple store of everything inside of it. You know what I mean? Because like, oh, I could go viral for this shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I could get paid for this shit. So I could get attention, and I could get paid. So it goes back to the programming and the age of information that we're currently in, that like it's it's um it's just a cluster of misinformation, bro. Like the internet is 99% bullshit, and unless you have the intention of doing something positive, then that's all you're gonna find. Even if that I've tried to program my own algorithm on TikTok and on IG, because once you understand algorithms, like
yeah.
you can start programming your own algorithms, right? So like obviously what you view, what you like, what you see, like it starts IG starts sending it to you, TikTok starts sending it to you automatically, right? So you can start programming your own algorithms if you do the work properly, right? So like I've tried to do this myself, and then every now and then it'll send me a fucking naked chick, or it'll send me a fucking nice truck, or it'll send me a fucking picture of whatever the fuck, just to see if I like it or if
Guys,
I even click on it so it can start reprogramming it.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
that's how they make a lot of their money too, because they send traffic a certain way, because that's where the funds are at. That's where the people are spending marketing money, and they need to feed that marketing money. So they'll entice you with eye candy, and then boom, you buy in, and then boom, that's the hop. We got a revenue back. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yep.
making
And
revenue
now
with us, our eyes and shit, our attention.
And now we can start
Wait,
sending them bullshit.
Yeah, and
it's
then you get
weird way
trapped in
because
that mix.
like I'm thinking about this. It's just I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm trying to what I'm going to say is that whatever's happening in the outside, haz de cuenta como it's happening in your mind. You know, negativity, shit like that, and if you have a negative mindset, but your algorithms in your mind are going to be attracting negativity in your
Marcus
surroundings.
Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, bro.
You know,
The outside is a reflection of the inside, bro.
you know. So
Always. It's always like that.
no, so it's crazy. Now, I know that we were talking about frequencies. Now, in your opinion, Jay or as the Eric, what would be the ideal frequency for one to hear to relax the mind?
To me, it goes back to
Love
the 432 hertz.
432, 528.
Like if you don't want to if you don't want to go like if you're having a hard time to control your mind because the thoughts are racing and you just can't get rid of anger or thoughts and you're stuck in a circle of loop of things that you're not controlling you, like is go through the physical aspect. I've done it and it works for me. I actually did it all morning today. I was like freaking using 432 hertz and 528 hertz
Yep.
to like just to naturally calm myself down. Like you calm
Mhm.
yourself down, you're able to relax because that's only it's kind of like if you listen to heavy metal, ¿qué vas a hacer? You're gonna go like, yeah, I want to go hit somebody, I want to play some football, like I want to knock somebody out. If you listen to some metal music, then your body automatically shifts its tuning frequency and you start like tuning down. Now there's no lyrics, which is when you listen to pure hertz or tuning frequencies like that, like 432, 528, 639s, all those different frequencies. When you listen to those, your body goes into automatic, like, okay, let me respond to this. And you know
Yep.
what? The only way I can respond to this is to like match the
Match the
frequency.
frequency.
You
Yep.
match the frequency, your cells are all working in synchrony, and now everything is working 100%,
In
like
sync. That's
in
fucking
sync.
beautiful way of saying it, bro. For the people that don't know how fucking synchronicities and how frequency works, that what Eric just said is how it works, bro.
Porque si oyes un corrido belicón, como a mí me gustan los corridos belicón, right? Yo oigo un corrido belicón, carnal, y de repente yo me siento como un traficante, güey. I feel like I'm driving,
Pero,
like, man, and people think that I'm a narc or something, you know, like in my mind.
but is that but is that part of programming? Wait.
That is part
Yeah,
of programming.
100%.
All of that's part of
100%.
programming. Like if you're not conscious of that affiliation of that energy, if I was Eric of back in the days, if somebody stopped next to me and looked at me like that, like, ¿qué onda, you know, like
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're in a different vibe, bro. I cannot be in peaceful vibes. But the Eric of now be like, I listen to music like that and I can drive around and be like, I'm not gonna buy into the thought that's being programmed to me. I'm just enjoying the moment of the beautiful music, right? Because it's still real stories that they share, or whatever. It's kind of like if you listen to a documentary and stuff like that. But if I'm not able to control my inner mind and I respond to everything that's in my atmosphere, then I might be reflecting the energy. So a lo mejor tengo el correo como belicón, güey, y luego de repente llega un vato mafioso y me queda, ¿qué onda, vos? Like, like what I
Because you're
do
attracting that
there,
shit.
yeah, and what I do there is what needs to be controlled, right? Like I can be, hey, no, man, what's up? ¿Cómo está, compadre? Let's go. Ah, okay, in that peace. But if I was a different person, I'm listening to that. I stop next to a
¿Qué te me
person who
quedas
looks,
viendo?
se me queda viendo, ¿qué onda, compadre? ¿Qué tiene o qué? Y no, pues, ¿tú qué tienes? Y luego it
Hey.
escalates and pa,
They're
pa, pa,
matching
pa.
they're matching that
They're
frequency though,
matching that
bro. You know what I
frequency,
mean?
right? And then ta, 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 y balazos, güey, a la vez.
Oye, ¿y por qué lo mataron? No, pues, no sé, estaba viendo una música y pues se aceleró.
No, no, they won't even say that. They'll say, no, hombre, te puesto que se movía, güey. Like, exacto,
Eh,
Yeah.
andaba bien recio, güey.
Nada
Not
mal.
even, andaba mal. Everybody says that shit here in the real. No, me andaba mal, carnal, andaba mal.
And Robert, to Eric had the perfect answer, so I can't answer something like that.
No,
But
but that's it,
the
that's
way
it.
that I the way that I do it, right? So like I'm very big on awareness, right? On aware of self, right? So like every time that something is bothering me, I try to tune into that chakra, right? So out of the seven, like it falls into like a space, right? So like whether it's your sacrum, your sacral, or your head space, your pineal, depending on what I want to tune and what I want to calm down, I'll listen to a frequency that I know is gonna align to
Match
that. So
that,
like
yeah.
Yeah, match that. So like for example, if I'm feeling a lot of anxiety and if I'm feeling a lot of like fear and stuff like that, I know that it's like my throat
Throat,
chakra, right? I know that
right?
it's my sacral, my throat chakra. So I'll tune it to like 963, 873, something like that. Like I'll do something like a higher vibration. The lower the vibration, the lower
It's the
you're gonna
lower
push on
chakra.
each
Yeah.
chakra. Yeah. So like I'll higher the vibration to match that. And if it doesn't work, I'll start playing around and I'll start lowering it and lowering and lowering it until I find it. And then I know this is the way that I tune myself. I know that I hit it right on the money when I start feeling tingles on my fingers, bro. Like once I'm tuned, I'll start feeling tingles on my fingers, like if something's like popping out of my fingers.
Like
You know what I mean?
exiting, right?
Like yes, like if I'm exit, it's either on my toes start getting tingly and sweaty, or my fingers start getting tingly and sweaty, and then I'm like, okay, I'm here,
It's kind of like
and then I'll
you're
start doing
filtering out the energy that's bothering you, and you're
exactly like
cleansing. Yeah,
Are your
I'm pushing it
toxins?
out. Yes, I'm pushing it out. So then I'll start doing the breath work, and I'll start meditating, and I'll start prayer, and then
you're
nine
100%. Yeah.
times out of ten, I mean, I'm a naturally anxious person. I have an anxiety disorder, so I do struggle a lot with anxiety. But 9 times out of 10, that works.
Oh man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, bro. Because a lot of people don't know that antidote, right? So they go straight to like what helps me calm down. Oh, but let me go get a
A pill,
beer. Let me
a
go get a
pill, a
pill.
beer.
Let me go get some drugs. Let me go to the doctor. And yeah,
Porn.
sometimes we need to go. Like we need to go, and I think that's healthy to get mental health like in order. But there's a lot of things we can do on a physical level, and metaphysical level that we have control of. Like if we can slow down our mind, slow down our breaths, and actually inhale that breath and actually consume it, and like you
Pay
feed
attention
it.
to You got to pay attention to your
Yeah.
body and things that it's doing. Like if I'm twitching or if I'm fucking like doing something with my fingers or if I'm doing something with my toes or my legs or something like
Biting your
I'll start
fingers.
I'll start preparing myself, bro, because I already know my checklist. You know what I mean? I already know what I
Yeah.
need to do. I move my legs. I have restless leg syndrome. So I know that if I start moving my legs uncontrollably, the anxiety is going to come shortly after that. You know what I mean? So mentally, I'm like, okay, it's going to come. Regardless of what I do or whether I don't do it, it's going to come, right? So what am I going to do to stop it in its tracks? You know what I mean?
Bro,
And I'll go down my checklist.
and it's funny because in a good way, because like we all do it. We're all like, just pay attention. You're shaking your legs, but once you start becoming aware of it, like, why am I shaking my legs? And then you can like,
Yes.
when I go to football games or basketball games or any sport games, I can tell like when they're anxious. I'm looking at the fans and they're like shaking their knees. Like,
Yes.
you want them to score, you want them to have the first down. So you start having all these thoughts racing, and you're like, que todo salga bien, que no la caiga, I hope they don't mess up. And your body goes into like, let me
Defensive mode.
let me stem this mode. Yeah. So it's kind of like you're biting into the own frequency that's in your mind. So your body's like, how do I reflect all these thoughts? Oh, let me divert it with some movement. And
Yes.
like if you
Somatic.
yeah, so if you go to a somatic, exactly. If you go to a concert, right? And then mosh pit starts, and you've never been a mosh pit person, I'm pretty sure if you're in that mosh pit area, you're probably gonna mosh pit because the frequency that they're following, like, it looks good, and all of a sudden
You're
you're
gonna
in the
fucking
mosh
want to do
pit
it.
and you're like bumping and everything, and it feels so good because you're in the mosh pit, you're in the same energy as everybody else. So that's how much powerful it is. Like the music you listen to, what you think, it controls your behavior. Like, and maybe if
Yes.
you're listening to a song like that has the mosh pit qualities, but you're in your car, obviously you're not gonna feel like I'm gonna mosh pit right now. But your mind is racing, your legs are,
And until you exert it, until you can let it out, like you're
and
gonna
yeah,
hold it in. Yeah.
and you might blow up on somebody for no reason. Hey, I told you to get freaking medium fries, not freaking small.
Yes, bro.
Damn, you
Yes,
don't listen or
100%.
what? Like you're gonna blow up, bro. It's so easy to blow up when you're not in control of your thought pattern. Like it's just bombardment of all these energies, and you're ready to blow up. You're taking a time bomb. Now the opposite effect is like when you're asking, what do you do to calm down? You go to these frequencies, do the breath work, you start cutting everything off, like even foods, like high sugary foods, high sugar beverages, alcohol, all that stuff. Your body goes
Caffeine.
into like, yeah, caffeine. You go into controlled homeostasis, which is balance of the body, balance of the mind. And then you're gonna be not affected by things that would affect you otherwise. You'll be like, a la madre, ¿por qué? Como estaba más chill ahora, no? Like it was chill. It was badass.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes people don't know that because they did a lot of work. They, or maybe when you wake up in the morning, you're fresh, your body resets. Hey, buenos dias. Oh, good morning, whatever. Yeah. Give me my coffee. You're not in a grumpy mood or whatever. But if you're on the way to work and you're listening to some crazy ass music and get off to get some coffee, good morning. They'll see, you're like,
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that, bro. I'm
Oye,
guilty of that.
so I was gonna ask you, Jay, about the anxiety. I don't know if I've asked you this before, but is it self-inflicted anxiety?
Most
Like
of
what
the
I
time,
mean
yes.
is, okay, okay.
Most of the time. So that's why it's very important. And ever since I've met Eric, I've like tried to like tell myself this every fucking day as soon as my mind starts racing, bro. It's very important to live in the present moment. If you do not live, and this is because of Eric, bro. If it wasn't because of Eric, my anxiety would be all over the fucking place all the time. But
Hey, te
if
voy a
you
mandar
do
el link,
not
carnal.
live, if you do not live in the present moment, bro, your mind is, if it's depression, you're worried about the past. If it's anxiety, you're
You
worried
worry
about
about
the
the
future.
future.
90% of the time, 95% of the time, it's like that, right? Some of my anxiety comes from unexplainable sources. I haven't quite really dug into it. Like, I'm not a fucking doctor, right? So I can't tell myself what it is. But most of the time, it is self-inflicted. Me worrying about the past, me worried about the future. But as soon as I tell myself, like, hey, just today, one step at a time, one decision at a time, one thought at a time. As long as I can control my thoughts to work like that, then my emotions play along with it. Because first is a thought, then it's an emotion, then it's an action, right? So if I can get my thoughts to live in the present moment and being present only here, right now, today, then there's no anxiety.
Now my question to you is pertaining to that. Do you think it's a rhetorical, it's a dumb question, it's self-explanatory, but do you think that pharmaceutical companies, counseling, psychiatrists are taking advantage of that to a certain
Mostly,
extent?
mostly pharmaceutical companies. I want to say, and this is just me being optimistic, that most physicians and professionals still stand by their code of ethics and they do not take advantage of people and they wholeheartedly want to help people. Obviously, there is some people that lost sight of that a long time ago, and you hear about it in the news or you hear about it a lot. But I want to say that mostly people that want to benefit from keeping you sick,
100%. Yep. I think
people that want to keep you sick.
I love that interpretation because I was feeling the same way like about that question when you were asking that, Rob. I was like, I feel like for the most part, people, doctors and professionals, they want to keep it like legit, where like they really want to help the person. Because I've talked to professionals in the field. I mean, I work with that in that industry, right, of healthcare. So I talk to professionals, and usually their best interest is in the patient, and usually they're not gonna prescribe anything that they don't need it. If it's a psychiatrist or a doctor, right? Psychologist, well, they're just gonna give them the counseling that they need. But I feel like for the most part, they'll get the job done. But then it's like, what are you doing on your half? Like, are you really following through what you said earlier? Like, if you're praying to God and you're not doing the job, it's the same thing. You're praying, you're hoping that these people help you and they're giving you the tips. But then if you follow through or not, that's your call. And now, if you over abuse as a drug, then pues también you're like not helping the situation. You're covering the wound, but you're not really healing the wound. And I think Jump Out also, like, I wish he was on. I actually sent him the invite. Shout out to Jump Out LO. He has a lot of feedback on mental health because he does share a lot of mental health wisdom that he's gone through personally and what he does now. He works at a recovery facility, right? And he does a lot of work for the kids there. And there it's a different business because they're actually, if they lose the kids that are addicted or the young adults, well, they lose a paycheck. So he's telling me, man, I don't feel good sometimes. I feel like we're just covering the wound. We're not really healing these kids. And I don't like that, about the job. Sometimes these kids come back and it's just a paycheck for these companies. And we're not really trying to heal them from that dependency that they might have on a drug or mental health issue that they're going through. So, I mean, it could go either way depending on how you see it and your perspective and what you're living and what you're actually seeing. But I feel for the most part, all professionals are out there, to make a good cause. I mean, it's really hard to go into counseling and be like, nah, hombre, voy a fregar a todos, you know what I mean? Or psychiatry, que voy a hacer una feria. Um, and I think Laredo needs more, bro, to be honest. We need a lot of more help here in South Texas in general, man. I know um,
Resources are low.
resources are low, and I see it in my job, and I'm like, I'm probably one of the first ones that I'm looking to how to connect people that don't even know that there's help. Like I want to make that connection for them, even if I'm not the
Lack
one
of
providing
knowledge,
it.
bro. That's big in our community. Like as Hispanics in
Yeah.
general, we lack knowledge, bro. When, like I was telling you guys earlier, like, well, in other conversations that we've had, like, man, Hispanics dominate every industry that we're ever in, bro. But the ones that
That
they
was me and
keep
you
us out of,
talking. We were talking
that
about that.
the 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 ones that they keep us out from willfully, like, we don't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I think going back to Robert's question, right? Like, I think Western medicine, Western pharmaceuticals never, they just put band-aids on wounds, bro. And the way that medicine works, from my understanding, right, is that wounds heal from the inside out, right? Like when I've done ayahuasca work, psilocybin work, um LSD work and stuff like that, like, just how there's medicine like for the common cold and for, I don't know, a scrape and a cut and stuff like that. There's antibiotics. Like there's medicine that will help you get well in here and in here. You know what I mean? But it's not readily available because they can't profit from it, because if it heals you, you're not gonna come back. If you're healed, then when are you gonna come back? That means I'm losing a patient. And
Yep.
that's people people became a number a long time ago, bro. Like, and this kind of work and this kind of medicine is not funded. It's not even legal in the US, bro. Like, you have to go out of the fucking country if you really want to get well, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah. Actually, the ayahuasca stories, and like when they go to these, curanderos in South America or in Canada, like, or even here in the state, there's some other places like underground.
Underground.
They hear, and like they're doing the shrooms now, the mushrooms, and it's like new technology, that's the new medicine that's being shared, like, and being little introduced into the modern medicine, I guess, if you want to say, and approved. It's still in the works. But when you go to these retreats or to these different ayahuasca treatments, that I've never experienced it, but I've heard so many stories that, like, dude, they overcame addiction, they overcame their past, because a lot of the addiction is because of a past that a trauma, like, that they can't get rid of. So they go back and they heal the trauma with the ayahuasca treatment. They actually heal the trauma by indirectly healing the trauma. They're healing the addiction, because the
You're
addiction.
forced you're forced to bring out that demon, bro. Like,
Yeah.
so Native American medicine, like, ailments or demons inside of you, right? That
Hmm.
don't belong inside of you, right? So subconsciously, ayahuasca and psilocybin and other substances like this, like, they force you to deal with it head on. Like, there's no more suppressing. Like, I
There's
know
no
that
more running
sometimes your brain,
away.
exactly, and sometimes your brain does it as a safety mechanism, right? Like,
Yeah.
it'll suppress memories and it'll suppress traumas, and like, but unconsciously you're still going through it. So like, it repeats and repeats and repeats, not only with you, but with your children and their children's children and their children's children. And like, but when you do work like this, bro, like, it's very difficult, man. Like, one thing that I've done a lot of research on these medicines because I'm a big fan, and I plan to be partake in some of these in the future. That the one statement that is always in common in all the fucking things that I've ever seen is things will never be the same. That statement, things will never be the same. Always, always.
You gotta be
DMT,
ready.
baby. DMT is like the red pill. I think
Yes.
it's like the red pill on steroids. It's like
On steroids, bro. It's like, pop.
yeah, because
Wake up.
you can go into the red pill mode without going into that frequency, like, of like that. You just fall into the abyss of the energy, but you can do it like you can do it on your own with all of that stuff, right? Because I mean, when you die, you release DMT, and that's why you have those visions before you die. Like we have DMT in our bodies, we just don't know how to access it. Well, we've been taught not to access it,
We've been conditioned not to
There
access
you
it.
conditioned.
go.
So we have
Yeah.
DMT in our body at will at all times, and even when in our dream state and when you're asleep, we do tap into that DMT a little bit slightly because it's been worn down and suppressed for many years in our programming and the conditioning and the environment we live in, with all the technology that's around us, and then all the Wi-Fi, all that and antennas and all that shit. It suppresses all of our abilities, and then the diet that we consume, all the food that we eat. So we're suppressing our own DMT that we have naturally. You release it sometimes when you're asleep. You release it when you die or when you're having like a near death experiences,
A near death experience, yeah.
and that's why a lot of people go to when they have that near death experience, they wake the fuck up like, ah, la madre, I saw the other side. I'm gonna change my
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go back to my old ways. And you see that person just 360, 180, what do you want to call it? Like boom, new and refurbished because they had the
Yep.
little bit of taste of their own DMT, bro.
100%.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh,
100%.
Eric,
Yeah,
I know that we're about to wrap up.
yeah.
For those that who don't know how to utilize the frequency, is it better to hear it on headphones or on a stereo?
Okay, this is a good one. This is a beautiful one. I love this question. I'll wrap it up with this one. Okay, my experience is begin when I first begun to understand frequency is on the headphones. On the headphones because I was learning. It was indirectly learning about speech and hearing science for communication disorders, and they were teaching us science about the brain, how it works. Indirectly, like, oh, okay, so I know about these frequencies. Let me see how it works in my brain. And it's called brain lateralization. That's when your brain syncs up and works 100%. So you can do it both ways on the headphones. Let me tell you why. And you can do it with a speaker, which is, I love to do that as well. With the headphones, you're going to maximize your brain strength because you're going to exit all the thoughts and only the sound is going to, it's kind of like it's rewiring your brain to use all of its energy, especially if you're doing breath work or even if you're just listening to it indirectly on your headphones. It creates like the when you hear sound, if you can look it on their MRI or some kind of frequency where you can see where the brain is lighting up, you'll be able to see how the brain lights up when the frequencies are on and when they're off. The brain lights
Oh,
up
wow.
perfectly. And so when you're doing it like this on the headphones, you're putting your brain on like, hey, le vamos a trabajar todo el brain junto in synchrony because the only thing that's coming in is the sound.
Wow.
All right. So the second one, if you want to change the ambience in your natural environment,
In the
first you
room.
first you change you, then use the speaker and play the frequencies. Especially go to YouTube and go look for Eric Bartel. I think his name Eric Bartel. Look for him. He has a bunch of frequencies that are good. You can just play him in your ambience. It's gonna change your atmosphere automatically because the resonating of the items that are around you, the people that are around you, yourself,
Gonna bounce it off.
it's all gonna be in a one frequency, not like a song that has different lyrics, different messages, different beats. It's all one sound. And if you can do pure tones, even better. Now, if you want to work on your brain, and go to different experiences of understanding and like creativity. There's the beta, thetas, the alphas, the
Yeah.
deltas, the gammas. If you do those, I have a podcast episode on that. If you want to check it out, if you look go down my track list here, my episode list, you're gonna find it and tune into that one, and so you can see my experience as I'm going through it. I talk about each frequency and how what I felt after each frequency. It's kind of like I'm going to record my frequency, me, and then I talk about what I felt and what I saw. It's crazy, bro. It's amazing. It's a but it's powerful, bro. It makes your brain rewire and like retap to abilities that we don't even know that we have, you know?
Absolutely, bro. Like that
Wow.
was a very well detailed explanation, and that's why I was like, you know what, I gotta ask so people can, try it out. You know, try it out. What's more beneficial: the headphones, the stereo. You can even actually listen to your car. If you have a good
Yo,
bass, the better.
woo,
Oh
bro.
yeah, bro. If you add bass to it, that's even better, bro.
That's one thing that I do when I'm feeling like crazy like animosity or uneasy feelings.
Mhm.
Tune in into your when you're driving alone. Tune it in, a 432 hertz or a pure tone or whatever. The and then just drive, and it's like you're in your ambience, and like even the windows start to vibrate in a really weird way, like everything. And then when you get off and the sound's off, you can hear the ringing
In your
in
ears.
your ears, like but
Yeah.
in a good way. Like you feel the vibration. And that's the physical aspect of what's going on when you listen to frequencies, right?
Hmm.
Especially if they're good frequencies.
There you go. Good frequencies.
Good frequencies. Man, I had something else that I wanted to talk about before we wrap it up.
It's a
So
lot of gems, bro. A lot of gems
Yeah.
today.
it is, bro. So honestly, Eric Bartel, I followed him for over like 12, 13 years already. He was the first one that I discovered that had this synchrony of the brain waves. And the reason, if you don't believe this science, you just look it up under communication disorders and see how sound impacts your brain. And then you're gonna see like videos and MRI scans and all these kind of technology, how when they put a certain word, your brain lights up in a certain part of the brain, right? And something lights up. So imagine listening to something pure, like even bird sounds. Let's go outside and
Oh hell
imagine,
yeah.
imagine the natural sounds of the nature, and then with silence, without a phone, without anything, without and just listen. You're already tuning into frequencies there. You're tuning into the birds chirping, the different birds, all have different chirps. Listen to the sound, the trees moving, the plants moving. Automatically, you're in a natural frequency, which is a natural 432 hertz. I think that's the
Yep.
natural hertz of the earth.
Yep.
So you're already tuning in to the frequency by not even listening to anything, just going outside.
It's crazy, bro.
And then hug a tree. and
Yes.
Yeah.
then
Don't forget to hug the tree. It's a crucial part of it, bro. You gotta hug the
Mhm.
tree, bro. You gotta finish
Yeah.
grounding while you're at it.
the
Yeah.
tree wants to hug you. They just can't.
Yeah.
So
I
you
just
got to go
can't.
hug it. You go
Yep.
hug. He's like, I have this energy for you, bro. If you want it,
You want it.
you want it. Let's go,
Yeah. 100%, bro.
guys. So man, anything y'all want to add before we leave? Any gratitude that y'all want to share before we wrap it up?
Well, first of all, pues, I'll just I'm just gratitude towards life, gratitude towards God, gratitude towards my family, gratitude towards you guys. Eric and Jay, a positive mantra group. Just loving life, man. At first it was difficult. I ain't gonna lie, it was difficult. Still a work in progress, but I'm way ahead of the game. And anything's possible. You just have to want it, and anybody can change. But it starts with you. You have to do that change first, and everything will fall into place. So that's my
Beautiful,
message.
beautiful words, Mr. J.
Beautiful. I just want to say that I appreciate you guys, man. Like, if it wasn't for both of you guys, I don't think that I'd be able to push myself as far as I push myself every day. Like, I think during the this last year that we've all grown by leaps and bounds, and I don't think that it would have been possible if we wouldn't be a part of each other's life. So, thank you guys for pushing me and for being that safe space. Me being myself and me being able to express everything that's inside of me, man. So, thank you guys.
Yes,
Beautiful
sir.
words, guys. Beautiful messages, and thank you all for tuning in. This is the Infinite Talks podcast. We have a great frequency here, the frequency squad in the building. We're sharing good thoughts, good energy, good experiences, and more than anything, I just want to share gratitude for you guys. For all this talks that we have, keeping me in the frequency, always motivated to learn more and to be open minded about stuff like that. And then I want to share health, prosperity, peace, and love with every single one of you that's listening and even not listening or indirectly listening on a subconscious level. I want to share all those thoughts like peace, love, great gratitude, abundance, prosperity, just loving life, having God in your life, and just being intelligent about the opportunity that you have to take control of your mind. And it starts with you. Like Robert said, it's not an easy step, but once you start making the adjustments and start making the changes, you can see the greatness that you have within you. And I pray that you reach that potential that you have, and that you continue to make strides in the right direction. Be that leader for your family, be that leader for your friends, be that leader for anybody that's in your frequency, that's in your circle, because you are gonna not only see the right now, but you're gonna see generations from now the transcendence of information that you share with everybody in your lineage. So peace out. Infinite Talks podcast in the building. Go check out the website. Frequency Squad in the building. Ya se me perdieron las palabras, ¿verdad? And also, we are not a brand.
Now let's say it all together.
1, 2, 3. We are
We're
not a
not
We're
a
not a
not a
brand.
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 We
We
are a
are
We're a
frequency.
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 Ahí lo vieron más o
Okay.
menos.
No estamos en sync.
We're not in sync, but we're in different places, but we got the same vibration. Let's go. Bueno, carnales, y'all have a great, beautiful day. Thank y'all. Tune in. Peace out. Much respect for you guys. Awesome. It's gonna be out in a couple of days, or today or tomorrow, but y'all tune in. All right, guys. Peace out. Beautiful. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Bye, guys.
Bye.